Hey everybody, Tim Braheem with Performance Experts Coaching and Leadership 360 with another business and life tip for you. And my guest this week is a dear friend and a member of the Leadership 360 family for the last 2 years, Ryan Morrow from Sierra Pacific Mortgage in the Palmdale, Lancaster area of California. Ryan is a loan originator, a branch manager for Sierra Pacific, and just an all-around great guy. And Ryan, thanks a lot for joining us. And, you know, one of the things that you've really worked hard on over the last 2 years in our coaching program is finding a real critical balance between work and life. And you set that out as one of your massive impact goals in your business and life plan that you created with us down in Costa Rica. You've done an outstanding job of executing on reconnecting on a more intimate level with your spouse, Trinity, and with your 3 children. So tell us, you know, some of the secrets, man, 3 to 4 very specific things that you've done and built in as disciplines to help really aid in finding more balance between work and life.
Yeah, so for me, I'll give you just a quick snapshot so you can kind of relate with maybe where I was coming from. To any originator that's listening, my vacations were leave Friday night at 5 o'clock and I'm home Sunday at 8, so that way I'm back to work Monday morning, I'm fresh and ready to go, and I didn't lose any time on Friday. And I realized that it wasn't working because not only that, I had no gap as I was heading into that vacation with the family. I was still thinking about work. I was still thinking about pre-qualifications over the weekend or clients I didn't get a chance to call over the weekend, and paperwork that I was hoping we were going to get in so we could go to docs on Monday. And I was still very much engaged in the actual processing of the pipeline. And it was ruining my experience. So while I was on a quick vacation with the family, I really wasn't there. I just didn't enjoy it. And they realized that I wasn't really there. They're talking to me and I'm nodding my head and they're not even, it's like nobody's home. So that's not healthy. And that was the number one thing I wanted to solve, because I realized that I could make a ton of money in the business, could have a lot of successes, but I can't slow down how quickly my kids age. I can't get time back with my wife, and that's really what I'm trying to work for. It's what all the effort is there for anyways. So through the program, I learned a few things. One of them was I committed to taking a week-long vacation. It ended up being a 13-day vacation without checking in, and I'd never done anything like that before. And so one of my big goals, we call them MIGs in the program, was to design and support what it would be like if I was not in the office, if I was disconnected from the business for that long. I had a little notepad. I wrote down every day what came up that it wouldn't have got done if I didn't do it. So I wrote it down. And I did that for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then I spent some time disseminating that and saying, okay, did I need to do that, or could I have offloaded it to somebody else? So I started to design a system that would support my leaving. And I also did the same thing at home. Anytime that I was at a dinner with the kids and with my wife and I really wasn't there, I started thinking about a loan or maybe a condition on a loan. I would kind of later write it down and say, well, why was that coming up? Why was I worried about that at 6 o'clock at night? And I was able to finally get to a point where I went on this vacation. I didn't check in. I didn't even call the office. Didn't check one email, no text. Everything was covered, and I didn't lose any business. And there were new leads that came in. My team handled those really well. It was one of the best vacations I ever had. And I started to think to myself, all right, well, if I could do that for 12 days, once, well, then I booked another trip, just my wife and I, and we went away for 4 days during the week. And then we started looking at, well, how often can we go away? How often can I be away from the business and actually utilize some of the resources that I've earned to have a really cool life? And it's been a huge blessing for us. For myself, I've got some of the best memories over the last couple of years because I've actually been present with my kids, present with my wife. I'm actually listening to them. And not only on the family side, but if I spend time with a realtor, I'm actually listening to what their need is. Or if I spend time with a client, I'm listening to that client's need, and I'm not worried about the call I had earlier in the deal that I'm trying to structure that may be blowing up. So I've created some systems to cover a lot of that So that way I'm more free to be present in that moment.
So just, I'm sure if I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody watching this, they got to be craving to know, like, or when you say systems, like, okay, you're a better listener, you're more present with your family. You put systems in place to be able to let go and to go away and not check in. It may be a complex answer, but if you can at least top line it for us, for the sake
Yeah.
of efficiency, what would you say are a few key elements to somebody who's sitting here going, I want to do that too. I want to be more present. I want to be able to let go. What are some of the things that you had to do to put yourself in that position?
Yeah. So little things like we get a loan approval that would come in, and I'd read all the conditions, and I'd want to make sure that I reached out to the realtor and I reached out to the client, and I went over those to make sure that they were comfortable with what we're asking for them for the closing. I realized that those things were taking up all of my resources after hours too, because I was constantly worried. Now I was the go-to guy. If I'm constantly asking them, hey, can you get me that bank statement? We're missing page 5 on your bank statement. Or remember the divorce decree I asked for, I need the rest of the pages on that. I'm thinking about that at night, and I can't actually settle down. And I'm also the guy that they come to on the weekends when they have a question for that, because I'm the one asking them for that paperwork. So I made sure that my processor really supported that she's going to be the one that asks for that. And I also let the client know at the very beginning that when we need something, you're going to hear from my processor, and my processor is going to be the one that actually, you're going to send the documents to them. Don't send them to me. I'm with clients. I'm in the moment with them. I'm not digging through my emails. Don't send it to me. It's just going to literally sit there. Send it to the person that needs it, which is going to be my processor. So I had to educate not only the client, I had to educate the realtors on how my business works. And through that, some of the realtors are going, well, how do I do that in my business? So it's a really cool coaching tool for them, and say, okay, well, how does your business work, and how many people are on your team, and really spend a little more time going deeper with them and in their group to give them those same kind of freedoms.
So what I'm hearing in synopsis is that what created a twofold effect. One is more presence when you go home at night, because your mind isn't holding on to so many activities, and the ability to go on vacation and not check in was something that really required you taking a bit of a leap of faith and having some trust in your team, and having some faith in that if you told your clients and your referral partners, I'm not the person to go to anymore for these types of activities, that they'd still be okay with that. Did you find that there was any resistance?
Oh yeah, for sure. If first the resistance was on my side, it wasn't from the clients, it wasn't from the realtor, it was from me committing to that and trusting that somebody, see, they're referred to me. And so I had this mindset that I have to be the guy that looks over everything and gives them the assurance that their loan's going to be okay and we're going to take good care of them, because that's all I knew. That was my past. I take good care of them. They refer somebody to me. It replaces the loan. We're good. That's how my business grows. But what I realized is that my team is actually kind of taking that role. And so if I can, and they don't know any different. The client doesn't necessarily know that. They just need to know what to do with the paperwork. So as long as somebody is there to answer a question for them, as long as somebody is there to collect the paperwork and look at it, and letting them know that by doing it this way, it's actually going to get attention a lot quicker than it would be if you send it directly to me. My loan's going to be a little longer because I have to actually look at it in the small window of time that I have throughout the day when I'm not with people. And my processor's there all day long ready to look at that paperwork when you send it. So it's really well received from the clients. Just took a little bit of scripting and a leap of faith on my end to actually give it a shot.
So 2 things just in summary, and then I'm going to ask Ryan the final question. The first thing is, remember, and this may sound like an obvious statement, but it's, I think, overlooked a lot. If you initiate correspondence with someone, they're going to respond to you. Okay. So when you're the one asking for things in your business, they're going to be the ones coming back asking you questions. So if you don't want the questions, then have somebody else ask for the things, or at least tell them who they need to go to with questions. Okay. So it's very, very important that we understand this, that once we instigate a conversation or interaction with someone, we're caught in a loop of having to go back and forth with them. And then the second thing was that what Ryan really found was that if he let go of those things and made maybe a more of a mental shift of, they're not referred to me, they're referred to me and my team. That's a big paradigm shift, that you don't have to do it all. So Ryan, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about being or applying for Leadership 360 and isn't sure whether or not it's right for them?
Yeah, it's been a great program for me. the blend that you get for business growth, but personal growth is unparalleled. I don't think there's anything like that in the business. A lot of guys leading their coaching with, how do we grow your business? How do we grow your business? And that's all fine. But foundationally, what we're really looking for is we're looking for freedom of time, freedom of money, which you got to understand, like, your person. Why are we doing what we do? Why are we spending the time that we are? You got to think about it. We've got some people are working 50, 60 hours a week, and they're getting maybe 20 hours with their families, 20 hours with their friends on the weekends. It's a huge shift. If we're going to give up all of that, we need to make sure that we're doing it purposefully. So for me, what I really got out of this program, what I'm continuing to get out of the program is, why is it that I'm going to make a decision to move forward and do something on my business? Is it really supporting what my true goal is, which is to spend more time with my family, to maybe give back to friends or family, to, maybe I hire a new position that's going to support me, but it's because I want to kind of create like this really neat atmosphere in the office or have a neat group with us. So there's a bigger picture to it. And unlocking that is more than just how many phone calls are you going to make to realtors? What kind of email are you going to send out to your database to get more business? That's easy to teach. The hard part to teach is really what's blocking you from growing, both personally and in your business. And let's marry those two to make sure you have a successful business in life.
Awesome. I want to say thank you to you, Ryan, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share some of your experiences and knowledge and wisdom. And I want to thank all of you for watching this short video, taking time out of your day to do so. Hopefully you found it to be of value. We'll be back to you next week with another business and life tip from the Coach's Corner. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Bye-bye, everyone.